All right, Shalom, Akim. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching His word in all true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to pretty much touch on prophecy and the end of the world, and how that saying is manifesting. And the event that would cap it off, that would cement the end of this world, the end of this age, is World War III, which the scriptures, thoroughly goes into. This is the tool the Lord has chosen to violently overthrow the wicked. This is biblical prophecy, World War III. And as we get closer to the perfect day, this is becoming more and more clear and obvious, and it's becoming more intense. So I got this article from Newsweek, and it reads, Russia issues nuclear weapons warning, no limits. And the scriptures goes into it. It talks about how the end of this beast that John seen had the feet of a bear, which the feet is the head is the beginning of your body, and the feet is the end of your body. And that bear represents the Russians. It would be the Russians that would contribute to the destruction of this system, and that's going to disrupt things. Let's see, let's get into it, because that's the talk. That's the new N word. That's the N word that E fears. You think a nigga, especially these niggas think they somehow they ancestor, and niggas believe in his ancestors, the civil rights movement. He hear nigga, Edomite said, and it drives him crazy, But when Esau hears nuclear, that makes him move. They don't want to hear. They don't want no parts of no nuclear war, man. Even Trump talks about it. He said the N-word. Nuclear. Because ultimately, this is his fate. He was blessed with the sword, but really that blessing was a curse unto him. So going into the article, it reads, Russia no longer has any restrictions on deploying previous banned types of conventional and nuclear missiles. The Kremlin said on Tuesday, vowing to take appropriate measures if necessary. It says Russia no longer sees itself as limited on these types of weapons. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said, according to remarks published by Russian state news agency TASS, Russia considers itself entitled to take appropriate measures if necessary to take appropriate steps. It says Moscow's foreign ministry has said in a statement on Monday it no longer considers itself bound by previous restrictions on U.S. and Russian missiles with a range between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. See, so that they saying they throwing that out the window concerning that agreement they had. They'll limit the range. How far these missiles can go. But no, according to biblical prophecy, that's the commandment of the Lord. You know, those missiles are gonna go to America. They were set up to be shot over here. Let's see, we'll read a little bit and we'll get the scriptures. Then the US President Ronald Reagan and former Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev signed an agreement in 1987 known as the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces INF Treaty, which banned nuclear conventional missiles able to strike between these distances. The treaty is no longer in force and do not bind either state. So yeah, even you, of course, America is doing it as well. Of course, America is also got their missiles where they can reach Russia, and Russia got missiles that can reach America. And these other countries can reach America. Even the allies. So matter of fact, let's start off with this in the book of let's get this in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Let's see, the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 13, it reads, For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. See? So this is not concerning your typical bow and arrow. You got a mighty man. Let's just say a mighty man that's very skilled with the bow and arrow. He's not able to shoot that from one continent to another, from one side of the world to another. It can only go so far. No, this is concerning the instruments of the Lord. Matter of fact, let's get some real quick in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 13. Because those are the weapons of the Lord, those arrows, those missiles. Isaiah 13 and verse, I started verse 4, it reads, The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts muster the hosts of the battle. And it says, like as of a great people. Show you that this is a parabolic. This is not actually talking about a great people. This is concerning those missiles, the weapons of the Lord's indignation. It says, matter of fact, continue on. It says, they come from a far country. See, even from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of the indignation to destroy the whole land. And that whole land is America. Babylon the Great, going back to the ends of the world. This is the ends of the world. The western parts of the earth world is the ends. You got the east in the beginning, and then the west is at the end. Even in the Hebrew, the writing, it's from right to left. So from the east to the west, the beginning to the end. So the ends of the world is concerning America, the west. So it said they come from a far country, from the end of heaven. So it's going to come from those weapons of ignorance. Going to come from the east. From America's allies and the enemies of America. And it said from the end of heaven, because it's going to be an aerial attack. is going to come down upon Idumea when you read Isaiah 34. So going back, let's go back to 2 16, verse 13 again. It reads, "For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world." See? So, yeah, it's not no limit. Those missiles were set up to really go to America. Matter of fact, what's that? Let's get this in the book of Psalms, chapter 7. Psalm 7. And verse 13, it reads, "He have also prepared for him the instruments of death." What's that? Those nuclear missiles. See, throughout the scripture, it speaks on this judgment, man. This is the perfect word of the Lord. This is going to sum up, everything. See, after this judgment, the Lord ain't got to come and you got to build. He going to build up the Medes, and he got to show this powerful work to take them down. No, after this, man, it's no more going to be said what the Lord done in Egypt, but how the Lord gathered the children of Israel from the land of the north, man. As the scriptures say. It says, "He have also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained of his arrows against the persecutors." So really, ultimately, these missiles, they already, when they're being built and created, they come with addresses already on them. Meaning these certain missiles already have a certain destination built within it. It's a missile already set. It's going to go to Washington, hit these certain major cities, and the target is America. Even when you go into these simulations, New York City got to be the standard. Why it got to be always New York City? It can't be Dubai or some country, somewhere in Saudi Arabia. No, it's always New York, somewhere in America. That's the standard where a nuke going off. Because that's where the nukes are going to go off, man. What's that? Jeremiah, I think that's Jeremiah 50. Right, Jeremiah 50, verse 14, it reads, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she have sinned against the Lord." See? So shooting at Babylon the Great by the way of those arrows, which the modern day bow and arrow, in its perfection, in its fullness, is those missiles, man. That's the bow and arrow in its fullness. Because the sallow is the bow. Then you got the missiles that come from it, which is the arrow, man. So that's why I said all ye that bend the bow, all those that have that nuclear capability. India, Germany, Great Britain, China, Russia, North Korea, just to name a few. Those are those that can bend the bow. Those are those that have nuclear capability. They got missiles. And the number of it